In this video we're going to look at multiplying and dividing fractions. So first of all we're going to look at multiplying fractions. So multiplying is quite easy because all you need to do is multiply across the top. So we're going to do 3 multiplied by 2 and then divide by multiply across the bottom. So 4 times 5. So it really is as simple as that. Multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. And when we do that, we get 3 times 2, which is 6, and then 4 times 5, which is 20. And then the last thing to do is just look at the fraction and see if we can simplify this in any way at all. So when we look at 6/20ths, we can see we can divide both the top and bottom by 2. So we can simplify this to 3 over 10. Okay, let's look at a more complicated example where you've got a mixture of fraction and whole number, so an improper fraction. So in this case, the first step is to take each number, so 1 4/5, and turn it from an improper fraction into a proper fraction. So how we do this is we do the whole number times by the denominator, so 1 times 5, which is 5, plus the top, so plus 4, makes 9 over 5. So 1 4/5 is the same as 9/5. Then we do the same to the other number, so 2 1/2. So we do 2 times 2 is 4, plus the top, so plus 1 is 5. So that's the same as 5 over 2. So now we can rewrite that as 9/5 multiplied by 5 halves. And then we just multiply like we did with the previous example, multiply across the top, so 9 times 5 over 5 times 2, so multiply across the bottom. So that is equal to 45 over 10. And now we need to look at that and we can see that the top is bigger than the bottom, so we can change that back out again into a mixed number. So we have to think how many 10s go into 45, and the answer is 4, and the remainder is 5. So that's the same as 4 5/10. And looking at that fraction, we can see we can simplify 5/10. So that will be the same as 4 whole ones. We can divide 5/10 through by 2, so that will be the same as 4 1/2. Okay, now let's have a look at divide. Divide isn't too difficult, it's very similar to multiplying. All we need to do is write the first fraction, so 7/8. We change the second fraction, so change it from divide to times, and flip the second fraction, so instead of 2/3 it would be 3 over 2. So I like to call this keep, change and flip. So then all we do is multiply like we did in the previous examples. So we would do 7 times 3 over 8 times 2. So that is equal to 21 over 16. And then looking at that, we can see that the top is bigger than the bottom, so we can turn that into a mixed number fraction, so an improper fraction. So we have to think how many 16s go into 21, and the answer is 1, and the remainder is 5. So that will be the same as 1 5/16, and we can't simplify that any further. Okay, our final example is looking at divide where we've got a mixture of whole number and fraction, so an improper fraction. So like we did before, the first step is to change the improper fraction into a proper fraction, so 2 3/4. So we need to think how, do 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11, so 2 3/4 is the same as 11/4. And then do the same to 1 1/5. So 1 times 5 is 5, plus 1 is 6, so that's the same as 6/5. So we can rewrite this as 11 over 4 divided by 6 over 5. And again, we need to do the keep, change, flip. So keep the first fraction, 11/4, change for divide to a times and flip the second fraction. So instead of 6 over 5, it will be 5 over 6. And now we just need to multiply across the top, so 11 times 5 over 4 times 6 on the bottom. So that is equal to 55 over 24. And because the top is bigger than the bottom, we can change that back out again into an improper fraction. So we need to think how many 24s go into 55, and the answer is 2, and the remainder is 7. So that is 2 and 7/24. I hope you found this video useful.